Hello everyone, and welcome to Theology on Tap. I'm taking a little walk today because I need to exercise. It's a beautiful day, Christmas Eve 2017. Hope you guys are having a great holiday, spending time with your families, you know, the unconditional love there is within the family, and I hope you celebrate Jesus Christ, who came into the world to comfort the ones that are disturbed. But at the same time, to be honest with you, He came to disturb those who are already comforted in the ways of this world. I mean, that's why they crucified Him, you know, because they were so disturbed that they didn't want to lose what they had. But the ones who were disturbed in life, they loved Jesus Christ and they followed Him. Because Jesus brought about hope and grace, faith, goodness. And His Sermon on the Mount is very important, but so different in the way the world wants us to think. And sometimes I wonder why, you know. So if Satan is the father of all lies, you know, then somehow Satan needs messengers that brings about the lies into our minds, the way of this world. And Jesus came to combat that, right? To tell the truth. And His truth is very simple, but once again, very difficult to follow. In fact, the ones that are in charge of this world, the governments and the church, religions and whatnot, I don't know if they really want us to be free, like how Jesus came to set us free. That's why Paul says in Romans 12, you got to renew your mind, right? You got to renew your mind, right? So that we'll know and test and to prove the will of God, which is perfect and good. So we got to renew our mind. And I hope these videos that I've been making, No Justice, No Peace, is helping you to renew your mind a little bit. And I want to conclude that today by talking about, you know, the things that needs to be done in order to renew our minds. You know, once again, going back to the Sermon on the Mount. First thing He says is, blessed are those who are poor in spirit. Then next one is, blessed are those who mourn. And the third is, blessed are those who are meek. Now those three are very, very important because it goes against this world. This world says, blessed are the ones who are proud, right? The ones who are rich, because Luke actually says, blessed are the poor, the ones who are begging in life. Now how is that even possible? Right? How is it even possible for Jesus to say something like that? Did He lie? Well, I don't think He lied. But the world has made us think that money is everything, and that somehow money could bring about joy and happiness in life. But Jesus said, blessed are the poor or humble, blessed are the ones who mourn, and blessed are the ones who are meek. The one who is fighting against that are the ones who are making the rules of this world. The ones who rule the world, the governments, the church or religion, and those enforcers of the law, like the police and the military, and also the church, the deacons, the pastors, and you know the devout Christians and Muslims and all these religious people who are always saying that they're doing something wonderful for God, but they bring nothing more than destruction, division into this world. And I think sometimes they do that on purpose because they don't want us to be comforted. Everyday people. Because everyday people, you know, we live and die. We work hard, we try to pay our taxes and do our best. But society doesn't give us the best or best chances. You know, I've been driving for Lyft for a few months, and I met all these people who are so busy going to work and taking care of kids and, you know, going through some struggles and problems and whatnot. And most of us who do that don't really matter, you know. We could live and we die. No one's there to really mourn except a few that we have touched in our lives and whatnot. We're not here to leave a legacy. We're not here to, you know, change the world in any way. But the ones who are the movers and shakers of the world, the one who controls everything, they want to change the world as if they know how. You notice the more rules that people make, the ones who are empowered to make, to make our lives better and whatnot, it doesn't make our lives better. Sometimes it makes it a lot worse. And if you've seen the rule books, just tax law in itself is enormous. The Bible, it's not as big as the tax laws or any other laws. It's still big, and we want to get to know it because we say that it's the Word of God. But Jesus, if you really look at it, his sermon was only 3 chapters. How is that supposed to change the world? Right? How is that the truth? And the truth of the matter is, in my opinion, is that he took care of that, Paul says when he died on the cross, he nailed the law on the cross so it could be buried. That law in itself becomes obsolete. And that is something that we need to understand. We need to renew our mind to understand that the God's law or God's word is written in our hearts. When Jesus went up to heaven to be with God, he said he needs to go, right? He said, I got to go because, I'm going to bring another comforter, the one who comforts. But he also disturbed those who are, want a legacy and whatnot. You never notice these politicians. Al Franken was recently, he quit his position as a senator. And one of the things he said is that he always fought for the rights of women. He always fought the rights for the poor and whatnot. What did he do? What did he do? Pass few laws? Right? What did that law do? Did it bring about peace, bring about unity? No. Actually, it brought more division, more hatred. You don't need rules. You just need change of heart. And one way to change the heart is not to just be, trying to follow the rules, but to change the heart. Right? To be able to say, blessed are those who are humble. Blessed are those who mourn, the ones that are suffering so much that they're crying, but they'll be comforted. It's a totally different way of looking at it, meaning that don't covet, don't look for the riches, don't look for other people to come and change your life for the better, to give you things, to inherit the earth. Jesus said that we need to to be the pursuers of peace, right? Or was it the pure in heart? Those things are more important, to take care of your heart, to be at peace, to not hate, to accept people. That's a lot more important. So politicians, they want legacies, but more rules they make, the harder it gets for the common people, the ones who need to be comforted. There's so many examples. But one of them was a governor here in California said he's going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, which sounds wonderful and it's great. So he made it into a law. It's going to come to an effect in a few years. However, he himself said it doesn't make any sense when it comes to the economy, that it's going to destroy the economy. People are going to lose jobs because of it. But he said that didn't matter because morally, right, it's the right thing to do. I think he cares more about his legacy and the rules that he has passed on. He doesn't really care about whether it brings goodness or not. If you look at education, those ones who are in charge, they make you go to school and learn things that many of us are not interested in. And if you don't pass and whatnot, they make you feel stupid, right? Underachieved. And each school get $10,000 a year, right, for a child to go to school. So if my son's school has 2,000 members, students, they're making $20 million a year. And every time when they talk about the underperformance of people, they say, well, we need more money. And they make it into a law to raise more money. Well, how did it help? I was listening to KFI, recently, and they were highlighting a school in LA where 90% of the students cannot read. That I read also in Cal State Long Beach that 40% of the freshman class couldn't pass the state efficiency test. So they're no longer going to even look at it, or they're not going to look at the SAT scores and whatnot. I also read that I think it's the Brown University. They're going to allow you to, answer the question of what race you are any way you want to. So if you are Asian American, but you want to write down your American Indian, that you have the right to do so. But why are they doing something like that? Why are they making rules or changing rules where, I don't know, what is their agenda? I have no idea. I guess it makes certain people feel good about that. But how is that helpful, right? The state of our education, ever since that Jimmy Carter started the Department of Education, compared to the 40s and 50s and 60s and whatnot, I mean, it's horrible, right? So what's the answer? Well, we're going to pass new laws to raise more money or not. When it comes to the enforcers of the law, the police department and whatnot, a lot of complaints about them too, right? For a lot of times, you've seen videos of them abusing their power. They make rules where we have to make a complete stop at a stop sign, and if you don't, you get a ticket, which is like $200 and $300, which is a lot of money for few of us, many of us, right? But they do it anyways. It didn't matter if it was safe or unsafe. It just happens that if you break a law, there's even a crazy law, I don't know which state this was in or what city, that if you don't lock your car, the police has a right to give you a ticket because you made an opportunity for other people to, steal your car. So the blame goes to you. So they're going to charge you $100 something for it, which is a lot of money. How is that going to bring justice into this world? It can't do. It does not. So people who are fighting for justice are bringing about more injustice in life. There is recently I saw on YouTube where I guess there's a thing called social justice Democrats, right? And they want to make sure that everybody is equally, justified to make everything fair for every race, every gender. And there are about 10, 15, 20, 25 different genders now. Wants to make everything fair and whatnot. Is that bringing peace? No. There's a lot more fights. The guy from Young Turks, he wrote something, kind of stupid 15 somewhat years ago. And he quit. I think he quit. I think that was the news I heard yesterday. He quit because of it. The social justice Democrats they're gonna disown him for what he wrote 15 years ago when he was, maybe in college or something like that. And they're saying that's justice. Well, here's the thing about justice. Everybody is guilty. Everybody's guilty. So it brings about injustice when some people are condemned for breaking certain rules, but others are not. Right? Some people get a job because of their gender or skin color. How is that justice? Because somebody else is going to be pissed off, right? I know that in the Ivy League, Asian Americans have to do so much better on their SAT scores compared to other. They're saying, there's too many Asians in the Ivy League, right? So is that fair? So more laws, more injustice. When it comes to morality, when it comes to religion, it's the same thing. That's why Jesus gave the Sermon on the Mount. It is to say, basically, in the Old Testament, you have heard. That's what he said, right? You have heard from the past. And these are the rules. And he says, no, don't go by that. Don't go by that, right? Don't hate your enemy. Turn the other cheek. Go the extra mile. Right? In order to do that, it's not something you do because you have to. In order to do that, you have to renew your mind. You have to renew your mind, That you don't go by what's fair and what is not fair, justice, right? Because if you go by that, then there's never going to be peace. Because if you go by rules, there's never, ever any justice. Because everyone is guilty. Everyone. There's this police officer that I see around the place where I live. And she is always like turning on the siren when she's going through the red light. Or sometimes what she does, when I see her, she's almost always on the cell phone. You see, how is that justice? When some of us get a ticket, have to pay a huge fine, but they could get away with it. See, that's the problem. Same thing with Christian pastors who have attacked homosexuals in the past, you know, and then all of a sudden turns out that they're homosexuals themselves and they beg for forgiveness. Well, where were you forgiving, right? Others in the past. Can't go by rules because everyone is guilty. You got to go by grace. That's why I wanted to make these videos called No Justice, No Peace, because that's what people in this world seem to say. But that's not true. That's not true. Jesus, I think if you follow him, you got to renew your mind. As we celebrate his birthday today, get that out of your mind. What has to happen is you got to renew your heart, right? Blessed are the poor. Blessed are the humble. Blessed are all the. I mean, I can make a bunch of videos on that too, but you know, I got a Bible verses written down here. Happy are the poor in spirit, the humble. And you can't be humble unless you go through some humiliating circumstances in your life. Happy are the ones, or fortunate are the ones who mourn. Fortunate are the ones who are meek. Meek meaning those of us who has the power, right? The power to rule and to bring judgment, but who does not. Right? The one who has a lot of power but doesn't use it for their own selfish glory. You know, I think police department needs to, work on that a little bit, right? But listen to this: if you go by the word of God, what Jesus said, he said, "Yours will be the reign of heaven." Right? We will reign with God in His kingdom, because you will be comforted, because you will inherit the land. Whatever the promises there are in this world, God has promised, He will deliver. All things will work out for good, right? And that you're going to be filled, right? You will find kindness. You will see God. You will be called sons of God, right? For yours is reigns of the heavens, right? Happy and be proud when people persecute you. I mean, all those things are just wonderful words of Christ. But in order to do that, we have to renew our mind. Don't go by the justice system in a sense of, you know, fairness and fight to get what you deserve. Because nobody really deserves anything, because everybody has already broken the law. Everyone is guilty, right? It's not just biblical law people are guilty of. Every law that man has made, people have broken. So you can't go by that, because it brings about punishment. It brings about, you know, stress, right? Just paying taxes. Who made that law? I mean, that's stressful for majority of the people, right? What we have to do is find kindness and goodness. Love your family today when you gather with your families. Tell them you love them. Hug your children, right? Say hello to your neighbors. Do people favors and whatnot. Jesus came for that. And what is sad is, you know, He came and people reject Him. And I think people are continuing to reject Him because we love the ways of this world. But somehow we think we could fix it. No, I think Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And we celebrate His birth today because His birth was hope, comfort to those who are disturbed in life, which is majority of the people. But if we follow Him, it will disturb those who are the who are the top 1%, or those who are in charge of bringing so much discomfort into our lives. Right? We don't fight. No, we just follow Jesus Christ and what he has said. Right? Well, I guess that concludes No Justice, No Peace. I mean, I could have made 3-4 more videos, but I'll move on. But God bless you. Have a very Merry Christmas. I hope this year was a great year for you, and the next year will be even better. And we could make it better by following Christ. Renew your mind. God bless, and I'll see you next time. That was a good exercise, actually. All right, God bless.